Aisha auntie and Kabir uncle are still in the house and looking worried. We should go to the mall immediately, but Misha's kids are still yet to come from the school, Aunt Aisha says. The school bus should have been here by now with the kids, right? Kabir uncle says, looking at his watch. Aisha auntie now calls the school. Oh no, the school bus is stuck in the road close to our house. The roads have gotten so bad due to the rains lately. Even the buses are getting stuck, Aunt Aisha says. Let's pick up the kids and take a cab to the mall immediately, Kabir uncle says, taking the house keys. Kabir uncle and Aisha auntie hurry to the spot where the bus is stuck. The bus driver is struggling to handle the mischievous kids who are jumping around and not giving him a moment of peace. The driver calls for help in his cell phone, but help will be arriving only after a while. What is the matter? Is the bus stuck in the mud? Aisha auntie asks. Yes, the wheel of the bus is stuck in a hole, and I pressed the accelerator for so long, even the tire blew up, the driver says. Can you get me a rope? We will try to pull it out, she says. The kids are shouting and jumping around. Oh my, these kids should know that we are in a serious situation, Aunt Aisha says. Yes, but how to make them listen to us? The driver asks. Aunt Aisha lifts up the scared driver on her hip now and shouts at the kids. Listen kids, the driver uncle is in trouble, and Aisha auntie is here to help him, so you kids behave and stand beside Kabir uncle in a safe location, while I will help uncle driver, she announces. Seeing the strong driver uncle lifted up on the hip of strong Aisha auntie, the kids all become quiet and stand in line beside Kabir uncle. Still carrying the driver on her hip, Aisha auntie starts laughing. Ha, people will always listen to a strong woman, especially if she is carrying a grown man on her hip. So Mr. Driver, shall we pull the bus out from that pit? Aunt Aisha asks. Still lifted up on the hip of the tall Aisha auntie, the driver says, Are you joking, lady? This is the biggest bus on the road. We require at least half a dozen strong men to even move it, he says. Oh, don't you worry. Aunt Aisha laughs as Kabir uncle gets the rope from inside the bus. Kabir now ties the front of the bus and hands over the rope to Aisha auntie. He now leads all the kids away from the bus. Still carrying the driver on her hip, Aisha auntie groans and placing her foot firmly on the ground, she pulls the bus with all her might. The driver is in disbelief as the bus wheel slowly starts rolling out of the pit. Oh man, I have never seen any person this strong, he thinks in shock and hugs Aisha auntie in anxiety while still lifted up on her hip. As Aisha auntie slowly pulls the bus, Kabir uncle also joins her and they both manage to move the bus completely away. The driver now gets down, takes a wrench and jack to replace the punctured tire. Kabir uncle is booking a cab when Aisha auntie notices that the driver is struggling alone, with all the kids still waiting. Aisha aunt alone lifts up the spare tire along with the metal wheel, in an overhead lift and carries it from the bus to the driver. As the driver replaces the wheel, she also carries the other wheel back single-handedly. Aisha auntie now calls all the kids and lifts them up holding their armpits and places them inside the bus, one by one. As she is lifting up each kid and placing them into the bus, the driver now comes near her after the repairs. Aisha auntie in a hurry lifts up even the driver, holding him by his armpits and places him on the steps of the bus. All kids start laughing. The kids wave goodbye, as the bus is now repaired and proceeds on its route. Come on Dad, there is nothing to be worried about. We all are absolutely safe here, Mona speaks to Kabir uncle on phone. Too late, we are already on the way with the kids. Besides, even we want to see the new mall, Kabir uncle laughs. I can't believe it, this thing escalated so quickly. Our whole extended family is on its way here now, Mona says in despair. Oh man, when I came barging in here, I thought I can have some fun with Big Bro by creating a drama, but now the whole family is getting involved, Tanya says in worry. Sid receives a phone call from his office colleagues and he steps out. Just then, a big chubby guy starts coming towards them. Mona and Misha also look at him. Now who is this plumpy guy, Mona thinks. Tanya's cheeks have gone pink and she is holding Mona's hand and pressing it with anxiety. Oh my, what is wrong with Tanya now? Why is she so tense? Mona thinks in surprise. As the chubby guy comes closer, Tanya's grip on Mona is getting tighter and Mona almost screams in pain. Hi Tanya, the chubby guy waves at her. Tanya has broken into a cold sweat now and is looking tense. Mona now realizes in shock, oh God, this is what Tanya was referring to when she said that she is into chubby guys. Mona says to herself, oh man, Tanya, who never cared for anything else before, is suddenly tense now. Hi Tanya, how come you are in the mall today? He asks. Hi, well, I had just come here to shop with my friends, Tanya says, stammering a bit. Oh man, Tanya is embarrassing all of us now, Mona thinks. Now come on Tanya, why don't you speak with your friend alone? Misha asks, smiling, and pushes Tanya towards the big guy. Tanya is sweating now. Hi, my name is Monty. Me and Tanya studied in the same college, he says, smiling. That's nice. You both continue your conversation then, while we will visit some more shops, Mona says and winks at Misha as they leave. You are looking really cute in this attire, Monty, Tanya says, looking at him, and you have changed your hairstyle too. I must say you look really good in this, Tanya says. Come on, you are just praising me, Monty says, feeling shy. Oh man, my heart always skips a beat whenever Monty has a shy expression on his face, Tanya thinks, breathing heavily. Come on Tanya, you are just saying this to make me happy. No girl will be serious about heavy guys like me, Monty says. Hey, I am not joking, and stop feeling so depressed, Tanya says. Cheer up a bit, will you? Well, how about we have a challenge, Tanya suggests with the same mischievous smirk in her face. If you lose the challenge, you will have to listen to me, no matter what I ask, she says. Of course, I love challenges, Monty says, feeling excited. Tall Mona is still looking at them from a distance. Oh God, Tanya is giving that same devilish smile. I am scared for that plump Monty now, Mona thinks, feeling tense. Since you are low in confidence, thinking you are overweight, let me prove that you are not really that heavy, Tanya announces. What do you mean? Monty asks. I challenge you to get lifted up by me. If you get lifted up by a slim girl who is even lesser than half your size, it means you are not as heavy as you think, Tanya says. Monty is stunned hearing this. No girl has ever lifted me in my life, except my mother when I was a child. This is impossible. I cannot allow that, Monty says. Come on, that's why I said, it is a challenge. I promise that nothing will happen to me, Tanya says. Monty is speechless. Tanya now holds his hand. Come, let us go to a secluded place, she says. But why? Monty asks, surprised. Nothing, just to avoid cameras and other people's eyes, Tanya giggles. Tanya pulls Monty with her. Wow, her grip is really strong, Monty thinks. Tanya now takes him to a corner in a secluded corridor. Monty is feeling a little nervous now. Alright, so now for the challenge, Tanya says, smiling. Tanya now turns around with her back towards Monty. She now bends a little. I challenge you that I can carry you piggyback, Tanya announces. No, Monty says in disbelief. Come on, don't you like to sit on the thin waist of a slim girl? I will bounce you up and down, and even lower and raise you gently, like on a wave. You will love it, trust me, Tanya says. Oh man, what have I got myself into? Monty thinks in despair. Look at that slim waist. She is less than half my weight and size. How will she carry my weight? Monty thinks. Come on, you have agreed for the challenge, remember? Tanya says, looking behind. Alright, I will lean onto a wall, if you are scared that we will fall, Tanya says, and supports herself to a wall. Well, come on then, she says. I will have to put my weight slowly and gently on her back, otherwise she could collapse and get injured, Monty thinks. Monty slowly lifts up his leg and gently sits on her back and slowly puts his weight on her. Monty is careful and is ready to get down immediately if Tanya shows any sign of struggle. Monty now puts his full weight on Tanya's back and is shocked as his both legs are in the air now. I can't believe this, she is actually carrying me on her back. He thinks in shock. You know, Monty, you are not as heavy as you look, Tanya says smiling. Monty is speechless. Tanya now bounces him up in the air using the strength of her back. Monty is struggling to balance now. Tanya starts laughing. She now curves and straightens her lower back continuously. Monty is rising up and down while still sitting on her back. Oh no, I am really feeling warm from inside, he thinks. Alright then, now that we know, I can carry you on my back. Stop feeling nervous and trust my strength, baby, she says. After bouncing Monty a few times, Tanya now raises her upper body carrying Monty on her back. Hey Monty, why don't you hug my shoulders? Monty now bends a little and hugs her from behind. So Monty, are you comfortable up there, carried by me? Tanya asks. Of course, I am feeling so warm and soft being lifted up by a much smaller, lighter girl, Monty says, hugging her warmly. Tanya now gives a sigh of satisfaction while carrying Monty piggyback. Wow Tanya, I never thought you were this strong, Monty says. My goodness, Tanya has finally done it. She has lifted up that plumpy guy she has a crush on. Mona says to herself. Oh man, a plump heavy guy lifted up piggyback by a slim smaller girl. I am somehow liking it, Mona thinks with a smile. Misha now comes looking for Mona and spots the slim Tanya carrying the much bigger and heavier Monty piggyback. God bless her, just look at the size difference between the two. Tanya has become incredibly strong, Misha exclaims in disbelief. Tanya now looks up at the big Monty, whom she is still carrying piggyback. Monty, you look really cute when lifted up by a girl piggyback. See, she shows their reflection from a glass wall of a shop. Oh my, this is unreal, you are looking so tiny in front of me, yet you are standing there carrying my full weight, Monty exclaims in disbelief. Oh God, no girl had ever carried me till now, Monty says. Oh well, there is a first time for everything, you know, Tanya laughs and starts feeling Monty's behind. Tanya now starts walking through the corridor carrying the heavy Monty piggyback. Misha and Mona are looking at the display of strength by Tanya in excitement. Hey, you know what, today will not only be the first time you were carried by a girl piggyback, but it will also be the first time you will be lifted up in her arms, Tanya says looking at Monty, whom she is still carrying piggyback. What are you saying? Monty asks in disbelief. Tanya bounces up Monty once and lowers him to the ground. Here, she stretches both her arms. Get into my arms, Tanya says. Monty, Misha, and Mona all have opened their mouths in disbelief. No way, you want to do a princess carry to me? Monty asks. Of course, why not give it a try, Tanya says. Besides, don't forget that you have already lost the challenge with me. Oh yes, I can't believe you won that challenge so easily, Monty says. Ha, I always knew I would win, Tanya says. So come on, come into my arms dear, I will not drop you, I promise, Tanya says. Monty wraps his hands around Tanya's shoulders from the side, and slowly rests his weight on her arms. To Monty's shock, both his legs are up in the air, and Tanya has successfully lifted him up in a cradle. Mona and Misha are looking from far with an open mouth. Oh God, this scene is unbelievable, Mona says. A big plumpy guy is lifted up in the arms of a much smaller and delicate-looking girl. Oh God, I never imagined that I will see such a scene, Misha says. Still carrying Monty in cradle, Tanya is now looking into his eyes. Aunt Aisha and Kabir uncle now reach the mall in the cab with the kids. They leave the kids in a childcare section of the mall and dial Misha's number. Mona and Misha are still busy looking at the strong and slim Tanya, carrying the plumpy Monty in her arms in cradle. Tanya is still looking into Monty's eyes, while carrying him cradle. Sid now comes to the place after finishing his phone call, when he spots his little sister carrying in her arms a plump heavy guy who is more than twice her size. Sid thinks he is dreaming now, and pinches himself looking at the scene. Curses, is that not Monty, Tanya's old classmate? How in the world is she able to carry him like that, and why? He shrieks. Shush, Mona says, covering his mouth with her palm. Tanya is so happy carrying that big guy in her arms. Don't spoil the moment for her, she says. Monty now realizes that Tanya has been carrying him cradle on her arms for quite some time now. Tanya, I don't think you can handle my weight for much longer, Monty says, looking down at Tanya, who is still carrying him on her arms. Monty, will you let me carry you whenever I feel like? Tanya asks Monty, while still looking into his eyes. Of course, my dear, you have earned the right to carry me whenever you want, wherever you want, Monty replies and kisses her cheek. Tanya feels like her strength has grown tenfold now. Oh God, the purpose of my life is fulfilled now, Tanya announces, looking towards the sky, while still carrying the big Monty cradle on her arms. Even I am feeling blessed, Monty says and hugs Tanya, while still carried in cradle by her. Oh my, I wish this moment to freeze forever, Tanya says, feeling romantic. Kabir uncle and Aunt Aisha now arrive at the scene. Both are baffled, looking at the slim Tanya, carrying a much heavier guy cradle and being hugged by him. Oh my God, who is that big plumpy guy, and what is he making that poor girl do? Kabir uncle asks in worry. No, Kabir uncle, you have understood the whole situation wrong, Misha says. Tanya is in fact trying to impress that chubby guy with her strength. Oh my, what a girl she is, Misha says in admiration towards Tanya. I cannot understand, what did Tanya see in that fat Monty, Sid says. And was she doing such heavy workouts, and practicing lifting and carrying on me, for this day? Darn it, I should have known beforehand, Sid says in despair as Mona is giggling now. Oh my, I am really impressed by Tanya's choice. Having a chubby guy as your man is so cute, Aunt Aisha says. I always feel that, the bigger a guy is, the more he should be lifted up by his woman, Aunt Aisha says. I am so happy for Tanya. I wish that she keeps carrying him like this forever, and get even more stronger with time, she says. If so many people watching Tanya and Monty having a good time was not enough. Sid and Tanya's parents also arrive at the mall after watching the news. Both are shocked to see their daughter carrying a much heavier guy in her arms. See, you did not believe me when I said that Tanya has become strong enough to even carry me. And here she is carrying a guy who is twice my weight, Dad says to the surprised mom. Uncle, Auntie, please calm down, Misha says. Oh God, we have literally become like a small army now, spying on that poor Tanya, who is just starting a love story. People, let us clear now, Misha announces. Misha now makes everyone clear the place. All are now behind a wall and peeping from a corner as Tanya now places Monty back on the floor. The plump Monty is still unable to believe that he was lifted up in cradle for so long by the slim Tanya. He now feels her biceps and surprised that how hard her muscles are. Tanya, have you been training hard all these days? Your muscles are rock hard, Monty says. Well, to be truthful, I have literally lifted and carried all the men around me for this day, Tanya says, blushing. Oh Tanya, were you wanting to carry me like this all this time? Monty asks. Of course, I felt like lifting you up the first time I saw you in college, Tanya says and lifts Monty up in a front lift now. The whole troop is watching with bated breath as Tanya has lifted up Monty again. Oh God, is there no limit to Tanya's strength? She has been lifting and carrying that plumpy guy non-stop now, Addy says. It reminds me of someone though, he says looking at his wife Misha. Mona is giggling now. Now come on, a girl always becomes strong when she is with her man, right? Mona says. Still carrying the plump Monty from the front, Tanya is looking into his eyes with love now. Ah, Monty. I think it is time you get lifted up by me in a way which suits a woman's body perfectly, Tanya says. What do you mean? Monty asks as he is still lifted up by Tanya from the front. Of course, don't you see, a woman's body is designed perfectly to carry a man comfortably in this way, Tanya says. Which is that? Monty asks I surprise, when Tanya puts him down. Carrying you on my hip of course, Tanya laughs. It is impossible. How can you possibly carry my full weight on your slim hip? Monty asks in disbelief. Of course, the heavier a guy is, the more easily he can be lifted on a slim hip of a girl, Tanya announces. Oh my, I can't even wait to carry you on my hip now, Tanya says in excitement. All the people looking at them from a distance are looking with a bated breath now. What will this devil Tanya do now? All are wondering. Tanya now invites Monty to come onto her hip. Come on, let me lift you up on my hip, she says. Monty is speechless. Tanya now comes from the side, bends down between his legs and lifts him up on her hip with a little effort. Everyone is shocked to see the plumpy Monty lifted up on the hip of the slim Tanya. Curses, just look at that big behind lifted up on that thin waist. Oh God, this is unreal, Addie says. Tanya is smiling with satisfaction looking at how easily Monty got lifted up on her hip. Oh Monty, I don't know since when I longed to do this with you. You lifted up on my hip. This is a dream come true. Tanya says feeling romantic. Monty is still in disbelief that he is lifted up on the hip of a slim girl who is less than half his weight. Hey Monty, Tanya says looking into his eyes as she is still carrying him on her hip. Shall we kiss on the lips, she says. Monty is also feeling really warm and soft. After being lifted on the soft and slim hip of Tanya, he slowly bends down and is about to kiss Tanya when her mom stops then suddenly. Enough you both, this is getting out of hand, she shouts. Still carrying Monty on her hip, Tanya is shocked to see the whole troop looking at them with piercing eyes. Oh no, I am really in a huge trouble now, she thinks in despair as Monty, who is still lifted up on her hip, hugs her in fear. The story will continue, gentlemen. Stay tuned for the next part.